go 3 wide.
And Andretti Carr moving up here at Mid-Ohio.
Turn number 4, side by side through the corner.
Renus BK and Robert McGinnis, a dead heat at the exit of turn number 2. Side by side, and Oliver Askew scores.
Welcome back to Road to Indy TV Live, folks. I'm your host, Tony Laporta, and we are getting ready for the final go-round here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for our midweek races, a triple header to make up for some lost ground already here in 2020. And as you see right behind me and right alongside me, drivers in the Indy Pro 2000 field are making their way into their starting positions for their third and final race of the week here at Mid-Ohio. Just wrap things up in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship race, where, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Christian Rasmussen has been on fire. Just like Alicia Keys, that boy is on fire. But a little bit of a twist here in Indy Pro 2000. If we go up to the head of the field here, we'll see a new car, a new driver up at the front of the field. Jacob Loomis with BN Racing is actually sitting in the pole position in that number 36. He had a bit of an interesting strategy back in what would have been race 2 of the week, round 4 overall. We're going to talk to him and learn a little bit more about how he got the pole position. Colin Kaminsky starting right behind him, but here's the driver that'll lead him to the green flag, Jacob Loomis. Now, we talked to you in between races. You filled us in on your strategy, but now we want to hear more about it from the driver himself. So how did you guys put the number 36 up on the pole position for the final race of the week?
Well, Tony, it was a little bit of a gamble we took, but obviously it paid off in the end. We basically kind of sacrificed that race just for track position in this race. So kind of got lucky just before the rain started to throw down a fast lap there at the end.
So I think for people who might not understand what you're talking about is you guys didn't have a favorable starting position in the race just prior to this one in Indy Pro 2000. So you and the team decided to pull in, take yourself out of the running for the victory or a potential podium, and then get out in clean air on the track by yourself and focus on laying down the fastest lap, because this race's starting positions were based on the fast laps from the race previous to that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Basically, once I took the green flag, I just checked way up, ran some pretty quick laps. I think I actually caught the pack reasonably quick. It's one of the fastest cars on the track from the beginning. And then we decided to pit. We had a set of tires left just because I was unfortunately unable to get out there for qualifying due to a mechanical issue. So I think that extra set of tires kind of saved us in the end.
Okay, so now the big question is, you take that gamble in round 4, the second race of the week here. It's race number 5, third and final one of the week. Does the gamble in that second race to get you guys up here in the front, is it going to pay off? Can you translate this pole position into a podium?
I really think so. I think we've had good pace all weekend or all week, but I think we've just had a little bit of bad luck. So I'm looking forward to keeping it up front.
Jacob Loomis, we're going to see if he and the gamble he just took can pay off really quick before they fire him up. Let's check in with Colin Kaminsky. Colin, shortly, can you get up front? You're already starting in second position. What do you got to do to finish on the top of the podium and get your first Road to Indy win?
Well, I got to finish in first, Tony. I got to pass a car, seems like, and that could be it.
To finish first, he first must finish, and then to finish first, he has to finish first. That's Colin Kaminsky with Pabst Racing, and that's your pole sitter, Jacob Loomis, and the number 36. Folks, keep it right here on Road to Indy TV Live, because we've got coverage of the last race of the week here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It's time for the Indy Pro 2000 fifth round of the 2020 season, coming up next live here on Road to Indy TV.
To get a good start position for race number 1, Jacob Loomis, Colin Kaminsky, Corey Enders, 1, 2, 3, those drivers going out on fresh Coopers to be able to knock out some laps. Now remember, they don't have fresh tires now for this particular race. We'll see how that plays into how things potentially roll out here. So again, Loomis on the pole alongside Colin Kaminsky. Both these drivers, though, with the talent and pace to be able to get out front, use track position to come home with a solid result. And that's one of the things about Mid-Ohio. Not an easy place to pass at all. Track position key, qualifying, always one of the most important parts of any weekend here. Corey Enders will start on the outside or inside of row number 2. Daniel Frost on the outside. Look for Frost to be aggressive early and aggressive often. He's going to try to work his way back to the front. And then moving into row number 3, we've got Stingray Rob on the inside and Hunter McElroy on the outside. Daniel Frost starting from fourth, the point leader right now, only 4 markers ahead of Artem Petrov, who will start right behind him on row number 3. Devlin DeFrancesco is going to start alongside McElroy on row number 4, now just 5 points out of first place. 2 back is Braden Eves, already a winner here this weekend. Stingray Robb starting P5, 5th in points. He's only 15 points back. That's how good Indy Pro 2000 is right now. 3 different winners on the season. Frost, Artem Petrov, and Braden Eves. This is going to be unbelievably fun to watch. Again, this is the key, folks, is we've got different drivers starting up front. That's the kicker here right now. How will these drivers handle this particular situation? Jacob Loomis has been in a lot of races over his career, folks, whether it's in karting or cars. I think that he is going to be pretty strong here early. But again, a much different look to what we've seen over the last races to start the season, the last 4 races. This is round number 5 of the Indy Pro 2000 program here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We're going to cap off this midweek event right now. Drivers coming out of the final corner, spooling up, green, green, green. Underway into turn number 1. Again, a little bit of an unknown coming into turn 1, but Loomis will roll that BN with Team Bennett machine out of 1. Down over here to turn number 2. He gets off to the initial early lead. Big aggressive attack from the outside, though. Look at this, locking up the brakes on the outside. That was Kaminsky trying to go for the lead. How's that going to transition as he comes out to turn number 2? Not sure that he was able to take that spot. He may have, it's 2 drivers off, contact further back in the field. We've got contact further back in the field. I bet that we would go to full course yellow at this point. Looks like 2-3 drivers together. How about 3 wide into turn 4? 3 wide into 4. Kaminsky, I think, around the outside. Again, contact, as we said, over in turn. Yeah, I think there's still drivers off. One's getting going in turn 2. They'll work their way through turn number 6 right now. Otherwise, all the drivers kind of settling in. Still one. No, that driver's actually getting going in turn number 2. Whichever driver it was, 2 drivers were involved in the exit of 2. That driver has got things going, folks, and we are still racing. There's a shot there coming out of 2. That was the last driver involved in the incident. So that driver able to continue on. Hard to get a shot at who that was. Here they come around. We'll give you the top 10 for the first time. Kaminsky leads, Frost second, Loomis third, Stingray Robb up into the 4th spot. We'll let you know who's involved. All that incident has allowed Charles Finelli to work forward. Braden Eves in pit lane. Championship contender Braden Eves into pit lane. I don't know whether he was one involved. Looked like Antoine Camo came by, so did Braden Eves, Sabra Cook, and Nate Aranda, the 2 drivers involved. You hate to see that happen on the opening lap. Drivers getting too aggressive. They started side by side on row number 7. Just got to get through the opening corner if you want to come home. Both those drivers were looking to get back into the top 10, but indeed does not happen. I think even worse, though, is the fact that Braden Eves into pit lane as well. Not sure what happened to Braden. Looks like right side pod damage for Sabra Cook. The right side pod fasteners have broken loose on the bottom part, so it's kind of picking up, able to looking at the cooling system underneath that right side pod. So Sabra Cook continuing. She'll hope for a full course yellow. Drivers into pit lane. Braden Eves coming back onto the racetrack. Not sure whether they were just checking something out. He'll be almost a lap back. Not quite yet. Braden's definitely going to need a full course yellow. But Kaminsky leads right now with Daniel Frost closing. Remember, Frost comes in as the point leader. Kaminsky probably back at around 6th or 7th. Frost, though, the point leader, running in 2nd. He without the challenge from Braden Eves. Now back further. Eves down in 14th. Here comes the number 6 as well of Moises de Oliveira. So after a really great start with a race win in the opening round, Eves just not getting lucky. Oh, we got a driver slowing on the right side of the racetrack. Are the drivers left? That is Artem Petrov, I believe. Petrov from P2 of the championship. Slowing, coming down into turn number 4. Artem Petrov an issue with the Juncos Racing Machine. Again, there's a bunch of drivers out there wishing for a full course yellow to try to get back in the fight here, but Kaminsky leads in the number 19. Colin Kaminsky, a driver who has yet to finish as a race winner in the road to Indy. Showed very well last year and with his teammate Hunter McElroy at Pabst Racing. Could this be the day? Leading the way here at Indy Pro 2000. Again, watching the development of Colin Kaminsky over the last number of years has been a treat for sure. He's just got better and better. Artem Petrov into pit lane in front of me as well to update you. He is definitely into pit lane. We'll see what kind of adjustments Artem will make, but a long crawl down pit lane for him. But indeed, Kaminsky's been one of the stars in terms of development coming through USF 2000. As I said yesterday, did not have all the time in karting like so many other drivers did. On the defensive already now. He'll go down to the bottom of the racetrack, and I'll tell you, yeah, here goes Frost. He's going to try around the outside. Colin's going to try to hold it to see if he can get down to turn 6. He's got the position. He'll have to dive deep into 6. He does. Side by side out of turn number 6. Through 7 now, over to 8. This is crazy running. Who's going to get it in turn 9? Oh, they're still side by side. I'll tell you this, folks, between the races. Oh, contact with the 2! Contact between the 2 drivers. Frost looked like he was trying to come across from left to right because you could see how his car rotated counterclockwise or clockwise. I think he had figured he had cleared Kaminsky, and he had obviously not. Kaminsky's going to pit lane. I bet wing damage for Kaminsky. Indeed, watch him come to commit. No, that's Frost. Frost able to get. I thought it was Kaminsky possibly coming in. Frost in the pit lane. You got to be kidding me. Frost and Petrov. First and second in points, both with issues. Wow. Looked to me like Daniel Frost thought he had already cleared across the front of Colin Kaminsky, and he obviously had not. The car essentially rotated right at the center. I'm going to say, I'm not even sure if they were even, left front to right rear. It's hard for me to see from the vantage point I had, but I could definitely see all of a sudden the car was sideways. So a full clockwise rotation for Frost. That's going to put Stingray Robb out into the lead. Stingray Robb from Payette, Idaho, in the Juncos Racing Machine. The leader now over Jacob Loomis. Corey Enders runs in second. So those drivers who were able to use that run number 2 for qualifying, they came in and put on fresh rubber and are using the track position to stay out front. So here's your new top 10. Robb, Loomis, Enders, McElroy, and DeFrancesco. Suleiman runs 6th. Parker Thompson 7th. Daniel Frost up to 8th. Frost, your point leader coming in. Man, just the way things could shake down in this point championship. Braden Eves trying to fight his way back up, but he's still back in 15th. One second lead now for Stingray Robb over Jacob Loomis. Nate Aranda able to get back out onto the racetrack as well, but I believe he is at least a lap down, probably 2 or 3 laps down. Yeah, he'll be 2 laps down. Here comes Sabre Cook across the line. She's actually on the lead lap, I believe. Sabre indeed on the lead lap. Here comes Braden Eves. I think Braden on the lead lap as well. Yeah, he's in 13th now. Letting live timing kind of update here, and we'll find out where we sit. Stingray Robb laying down the fast lap as well out front, a 117.916, 1.4 seconds the advantage over Jacob Loomis. Corey Anderson third. It just shows how track position is important here. These drivers who, of course, were battling Loomis right at the tail end of the top 10 kind of throughout the weekend with BN Racing. But they've been really dialing this thing in throughout the weekend. And it will give them that. Both Jacob Loomis and Sabre Cook have been going quicker and quicker throughout the weekend, much closer to the front of the pack as they were in terms of time at Road America. So they're making big leaps. And I think that's going to allow them to roll off the trailer a lot closer when we get back here in a week's time for the IndyCar weekend. Charles Finelli up running in 9th position, able to stay away from all the chaos. He and Kaminsky up in 9th and 10th. Charles Finelli and Bob Kaminsky up into 9th and 10th right now. Love to see it. Braden Eves will have his head down right now, trying to put some really good lap times in to see if he can't work his way back into the top 10. That's definitely a possibility for him. Daniel Frost, we said, has lost a lap. Here comes Stingray Robb across the line to put lap number 7 in. Only 13 drivers on the lead lap right now. We got a long way to go. A full course yellow would really play into the hands of both Artem Petrov and Braden Eves, both those drivers on the lead lap, despite the issues they had on the racetrack. Not sure what it was for Artem Petrov, but he did come into pit lane. 1.7 seconds now the lead for Stingray Robb out front in the Juncos Racing Machine. There's first, second Loomis, third Enders, fourth McElray, fifth DeFrancesco, sixth Suleiman, and seventh is Parker Thompson. Oh, big break lock up there. That's, I believe, Hunter McElray finally getting by Corey Enders to move Hunter McElray into the third spot. He could definitely use a good finish. Everybody, though, benefiting by the fact that Daniel Frost is down a couple of laps. Daniel, as I said, came in with the point lead. Field streaming by start finish. All the way back to Parker Thompson in 7th. About another, I want to say about 9 seconds back to Antoine Cameau. Charles Finelli and Bob Kaminsky then running 9th and 10th. Artem Petrov, Sabre Cook, and Braden Eves trying to reel them in. Sabre's actually quite a ways off the pace with the aerodynamic damage on the side of the car. Full course yellow will allow her to come into pit lane, potentially button that up. Otherwise, just stay out there and stay out of trouble at this point. There's Petrov. He's been able to get by Cook. I would assume that Braden Eves will get that job done momentarily as well. Both Artem Petrov and Braden Eves are really only focused now as to try to see if they can't catch Finelli and Kaminsky to get to 9th and 10th. Colin Kaminsky out of the race, that contact with Daniel Frost. I'm surprised Frost doesn't have any more damage, but really, as I said, just kind of rotational turn. Very likely Frost just probably rotating on the left front of Kaminsky. Likely left front damage, potentially wing damage for Kaminsky, but somehow Frost able to kind of survive it, come into pit lane, make a couple of adjustments or some repairs, and get back out there. Although a couple of laps down, he'll rely on some attrition to try to save some points for him too. But again, looking at the points, I guess Petrov could have an opportunity to overtake Frost as the point leader, depending on how things shake down right now. Daniel in the 16th spot. If Petrov able to get up into the top 10, say to 9th, and reel in Finelli and Kaminsky, that may give him an opportunity to take over the points. Devlin DeFrancesco actually has a chance to take over the points right now too. As DeFrancesco P5. Only 5 points back of Frost. So all he's got to do is get 6 more points than Daniel and 2 more points than Petrov, and he'll be the point leader heading to Mid-Ohio next week. Back here to Mid-Ohio, not heading to, returning. What a great couple of days it's been here. It's been really eerie, ladies and gentlemen. If you've ever been to one of these Road to Indy events before where we support the IndyCar series, there's always so much atmosphere. You know, the paddock's packed, campgrounds are packed, people mulling around, the fans, especially here at Mid-Ohio, this place packs it up. And, I get out of the race control and walk across the track to Victory Lane, and it's just absolutely dead silent. It's unbelievably weird. I know that the guys from the IndyCar series felt like running at Texas or Iowa when really just nobody around. Texas for certain. It's definitely an odd feeling to be able to be here in the booth, watch the action, get so amped up about it, and then walk outside and be in the dead quiet. Stingray Robb leading by 1.8 seconds, and kudos to Jacob Loomis. I'm telling you how fast this team has continued to work, getting better and better and better. Loomis turning 117.9s. He's faster than DeFrancesco. Suleiman, Thompson, he's faster. Go further back. He's faster than both Petrov and Eves as well. So I'll tell you, it's good to see the team finding more pace with Jacob Loomis. I know he's a heck of a shoe, and getting chased hardcore right now by Hunter McElroy, who just turned the fast lap, a 1:17.764. McElroy trying to close on Loomis for second. McElroy really trying to crawl back. Bottom line is that he had an absolutely disastrous weekend at Road America, finishing last in essentially both races, 15th and 15th. You know, he's looking to try to see if he can't recover something here. You know, race number 1, McElroy finishing in the 8th position. Race 2, 6th. So a couple of solid top 10s, but man, anything on the podium here would be big. Loomis putting some pressure on him here right now. And Loomis and McElroy. Is that McElroy through? I don't want to say that it is as of yet, but or is that potentially watching Rob close up on some lap cars? Oh, that I know what that is. That's Artem Petrov closing up on both Charles Finelli and Bob Kaminsky. Working off about a 5x8 screen here for you folks on program, so a little harder to pick up the cars. They're going to come out of the final corner here. Indeed, Bob Kaminsky's been able to get by Charles Finelli. That's Artem Petrov closing. Braden Eves quite a ways back still. About 3 seconds a lap he's gaining. There's still 13 or 14 laps to go, so Eves definitely has an opportunity to get himself into the top, probably top 10 as well, maybe 10th position. Eves actually closing up now behind Frost, who is a full lap behind, 2 laps behind actually. And here comes your leader, Stingray Robb, behind. Frost actually 1 lap back. Let me update that. Frost is 1 lap back. Sabre Cook is actually off the throttle now. She's going to back it up a bit. Again, a little bit of an issue there for Sabre, as I said. I think she's actually lost a lap now as well, the damage to the car. Leaders working their way down the straightaway. That's the lead right there you're seeing for Stingray Robb, 1.6 seconds. Loomis about 0.3 of a second quicker last time by. Here goes McElroy to the inside of Loomis. Big move to the inside. It'll be an over-under from Loomis. Trying the over-under as well. No, McElroy's gone to second. Hunter McElroy to P2, and Stingray Robb better get on his giddy up because here comes McElroy. Winner last year on a multiple occasions, second overall in the USF 2000 championship points. He has now worked his way into second. And Hunter McElroy, dead last in both races at Road America. See if he can't reel in Stingray Robb. We're just to the halfway point as well. 13 laps down next time by, 12 to go in a 25-lapper. Little tidbit there coming in from Steve Wittick from TSO Ladder and TracksideOnline.com. Of course, Stingray Robb, this is his 4th year in the Indy Pro 2000 category. Started the last year of the old Pro Formula Mazda car in the Pro Mazda Championship that was then turned into the Indy Pro 2000 Championship with the PM18 machine. This is actually, and this is from Steve, it's his 50th start in the Indy Pro 2000 category. Again, as we said, his 4th season. So his 50th start. And leading the way here right now. Needs to find some speed and does. Gets down to a 1:17.940. But McElroy turning things up. 1:17.453. Again, if you're looking for great information to stay up to date on everything happening in the road to Indy, make sure to go to tsoladder.com or subscribe to TracksideOnline.com for all the information. A lot of it web-based, a lot of it email-based as well. But Steve Wittick and his partner Patrick Steffen providing awesome information for all the IndyCar Series events. $22, I think, a year for the subscription. TracksideOnline.com, TSOladder.com, free for those who want to check it out. 1.7 seconds still the lead now for Stingray Robb with 11 laps to go. There's the gap there visually coming into the keyhole. McElroy trying to reel him in. Jacob Loomis trying to take full advantage of the opportunity to put fresh rubber on in the second race to qualify P1. He now runs in third. The question is, will those tires allow him to hold that position through to the end with Corey Enders? Actually, Corey Enders is kind of holding off Devlin DeFrancesco. To be honest, Corey Enders, who did the same strategy. Look at this. Enders running down the inside of the racetrack. DeFrancesco goes all the way around the outside. Book it. DeFrancesco goes to P4. And this is going to be an opportunity for DeFrancesco to potentially take over the point lead here as well. Daniel Frost now running in the 14th position. Braden Eves in 12th. Man, how did this happen? Parker Thompson, who's challenged for the podium twice, P7 right now. All three drivers that rolled the dice, though, running up front. McElray, Loomis, and Enders. Rather, it was Kaminsky, not McElray. Pardon me. McElray had a good finish. It was Kaminsky. He's the one that got involved with Frost. So both Loomis and Enders still running in the top five. Stingray Rob's going to be dealing with some lap traffic pretty soon. That could make things interesting. That's the lap traffic in front of him. 37 to Sabre Cook into pit lane. We'll see if they make adjustments and repairs to that machine to get her back out. Nonetheless, an overall solid weekend for Sabre as she's been able to find good speed. They'll definitely get good data as well to Jacob Loomis right now. He's turning lap times just as quick as Stingray Robb, a 117.783. In fact, his fast lap's faster than Robb's. So good on the guys from BN Racing with Team Bennett to get some decent information here to kind of dial in that baseline set when they press the reset button and come back 1 week for a doubleheader weekend. Tripleheader for USF 2000, doubleheader for Indy Pro next weekend here at Mid-Ohio. Watching this lap traffic for Stingray Robb. It's actually Nate Aranda and Moises De La Vera. They did not give him any kind of a move-over flag here at start-finish. Lap times for Aranda and De La Vera, 1:19.8. Yeah, they're 2 seconds off the pace. They're going to catch up to them pretty quickly. In fact, if they keep battling. McElray's got it down to 1.1 seconds. Stingray Robb is going to have to time that pass when he gets to these drivers here to see if he can't use them as a pick to potentially gain a little bit more time. 16 laps down, 9 to go. Final race of the tripleheader weekend. Loomis runs in third, DeFrancesco up to fourth, Enders holding on to fifth. It's been a rough weekend for Corey Enders with some mechanical problems, so a top five would be a great exclamation point to end the weekend. Parker Thompson able to get by his teammate Manuel Suleiman, so he goes to P6. So D-Force Racing now running 5th, 6th, and 7th. Antoine Camo in 8th. 9th is Artem Petrov. 10th, Bob Kaminsky. 11th, Charles Finelli. Eves about 11 seconds behind Finelli, but I want to say 3 seconds faster a lap. There's a potential for Eves to get back to 10th. Well, what a topsy-turvy world it's been here. Again, not seeing a move-over flag. I'm sure they'll be on the radio telling him that he's coming. Indeed, as they run on the racetrack, Stingray Robb with the bonus points would take over the point lead. I said it was going to be Devlin DeFrancesco, but as they run on the racetrack, it's going to be a 2-point lead for Stingray Robb if he's able to hold on to the race win. It's like Stingray doing a good job getting by the driver, kind of getting out of the way there. Kudos to him on that. Like to see that happening. So again, looking at points as they run on the racetrack, 106 for Stingray Robb, 104 for Devlin DeFrancesco. It would be 98 for Daniel Frost, no, 99 for Artem Petrov, 98 for Daniel Frost, and 92 for Braden Eves. Top five separated by 14 points. And again, Braden Eves, as I said, potentially going to get another spot, one more potentially, as he's trying to close up here on Kaminsky. He's 11 seconds behind Bob Kaminsky, but only a second faster with 8 laps to go. He's going to really have to dig in. And Kaminsky's not going to give it up at all because he's trying to make sure that he takes care of his Pabst Racing teammates, Hunter McElray and Colin Kaminsky. Loomis able to get by one of the slower cars as well coming through. He's still P3, but second and a half ahead of Devlin DeFrancesco. Suleiman slowing down, De Oliveira slowing down, coming up into the keyhole. 1.5 seconds the lead now for Rob. Stingray Rob holding on to that lead right now, turning some of his best lap times, a 1:17.877 last time by. Stingray looking to grab his first career Indy Pro 2000 victory, as Steve Wittick told us from TSOladder.com. 50th start for Stingray. Did not go into USF 2000. It was kind of more of a setup that with the final year of that older Pro Formula Mazda, was able to get into the program for a pretty affordable price. In talking to him, I think he probably would have liked to have went to USF 2000, but nonetheless, lots of seat time in these higher horsepower cars, and he's been very close. Last year, to be honest, probably should have won the race at Laguna Seca, but if it were not for one of the backmarker cars knocking some gravel out in the corner at turn 5, and he just went off the racetrack. That allowed Kyle Kirkwood to slip through and indeed probably helped Kirkwood win the championship over Rasmuth Lint, because contact at the start of race number 2 took out Kirkwood, and to be honest, really allowed Kirkwood to take that championship if it weren't for Stingray Rob getting tossed off the racetrack with the gravel. So he's had a chance to win on a number of occasions. Qualified on pole a couple times last year as well. The lead now 1.5 seconds. We got some battling further back, though. Drivers trying to get by some of the lap traffic. Of course, always easier for the leader to get by the lap traffic, because once the leader sees it, they all kind of tuck back in. There's a case in point there. Lap car getting back into the racing groove just as Devlin DeFrancesco was rolling in. So Devlin's going to get hung up behind Charles Finelli a little bit here. He'll try to go down the inside. Charles is going to hang to the outside. Good job for Finelli. That allows DeFrancesco through. That's P6, or corner 6, P4. Tough time, though, folks. You're bolted into one of these cars. All you got is those tiny little vibrating mirrors. You want to make sure you stay out of the way, but if you try to stay out of the way too aggressively, you make mistakes. It's better to run your line and, just let the other driver get by you. Stingray Rob across the line to put lap 20 in the books. A handful of circuits to go. 5 remain. 5 laps remaining for Stingray Rob. 118 flat for Stingray. Hunter McElroy, 117.5. Just gained a half a second on that last lap. 1 second now the lead. McElroy's coming. Half a second faster that last lap for Hunter McElroy. Stingray Rob's best lap of 117.7. He better find another couple of those. Jacob Loomis a couple of seconds ahead of Devlin DeFrancesco, so looking good, Loomis is, for a potential podium. DeFrancesco forced Parker Thompson up into 5th, and what a recovery it's been for Parker. Yeah, if we finish where we are right now, he's still 36 points behind, but that's not much considering the disastrous opening weekend that he had at Road America. He's going to be fighting his way back up here. Parker Thompson showing that consistency once again. 3rd in race 1, 4th in race 2. Currently running P5. Leaders again, crossing the line, 4 to go. 4 laps remaining in Indy Pro 2000. 117.8 for Rob, 117.846 for McElroy. Rob quicker by 0.04 of a second. He has to continue to answer the call. Stingray Rob getting pressured here by Hunter McElroy. Great pressure, not a one-on-one battle, not a shootout, not a dogfight, just straight up car versus car, driver versus driver, battling for speed. Every 1/10 of a second makes the difference. And Stingray Rob getting back down to a 17.804 crucial. Still a full second the advantage. Fast lap actually belongs to Daniel Frost at 117.353, so he's grabbing that point that he can. He's in 13th. Braden Eves has been able to catch and pass Bob Kaminsky, so move Braden Eves now into 10th. 94 points. If they finish right now, he'd only be 12 points out of the lead. It's been an up and down weekend for Braden Eves for sure. Wins race 1, gets caught out by the rain at a potential contact spin over in turn number 2. Falls down to 9th, I think it was. Able to work his way back forward unbelievable weekend. The up and downs, the trials and tribulations of motorsports, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, everything rolled up into one for Braden Eves here at Mid-Ohio this weekend, a place that he would love to have come in and swept. He'll get another chance, 2 more races next weekend. But for Braden Eves, his home track, and he wants to do well. There's your leaders again, coming down through turn number 3. It was less than a second last time by, as McElroy just about a 10th quicker. Just over a 10th quicker in the last lap. Stingray Rob's got to hit all the marks here now. It'll be 2 to go next time by. Devlin DeFrancesco most definitely reeling in Jacob Loomis. You wonder about the tires of Jacob Loomis. Of course, he had to use them the first, let's say, 3, 4, 5 laps in the race 2 to get the qualifying time. That driver's off. That driver off over in, not sure, it's the 83 of Finelli, but he's able to continue. I don't think we're going to see yellow. That's actually just over here, potentially in the carousel. Finelli coming back on, actually, he's going to come right back onto pit lane. So we thought about potentially a yellow, but no. Finelli able to stay on pit lane. Leaders coming out of turn number 1. 2 laps to go for Stingray Robb. 1 more driver in front. I think that might be Sabra Cook. She's, of course, a couple laps down right now, having made repairs significantly out front. Sabra will no doubt get out of the way, if indeed that's who that is. There's your lead. It was down to 9/10 of a second last time by. They'll come into the braking zone. Stingray closing up on that slower car. Not what he wanted to see here as he's getting ready to come down to see the white flag. Through turn number 5, McElroy most definitely getting closer, probably another couple of tenths of a second. Stingray Robb ideally will be able to make the pass coming onto the straightaway here right now as they work their way over into Thunder Valley. White flag awaiting Stingray Robb here at start-finish. Closing up here on Sabra Cook, I believe. Haven't confirmed that as of yet. He'll get right close coming into the carousel. Hopefully Sabra will be able to get out of the way a bit because here comes Hunter McElroy. It's actually Bob Kaminsky, and that's the teammate of Hunter McElroy. He is not going to give this up at all. If he can play any kind of a role in slowing up Stingray Robb, this is going to help. No, he's going to pull to the side. Here comes Stingray. No, Bob's in the middle of the racetrack. Stingray's going to have to go to the inside. He does. Hunter's going to try to roll the speed as well. That has put Hunter McElroy off to the gearbox of Stingray Robb. Maybe 3 lengths coming out of turn number 2. They'll work their way down the back straightaway again. Stingray Robb 1 lap away from his first career Indy Pro 2000 victory. His 50th start in the series. McElroy deep under the brakes in turn number 4. McElroy to within 4 car lengths as they come through the 4, 5, 6 combination. From here, it's over madness. Not a lot of opportunity from here. Stingray's just got to hit the marks. Turn number 9, always a tough one. He's got a couple of car legs still. Good exit for Stingray Robb. Back up through Thunder Valley. 10 and 11. The carousel almost all that's left. Hunter McElroy threw everything he could at him over the final couple of corners. But through the carousel, one more time in his 50th start, his first Indy Pro 2000 victory at Mid-Ohio, Stingray Robb, the winner in race number 3 for the Indy Pro 2000 category here at Mid-Ohio. 50 starts in the program and many times an opportunity to get that victory today. Pressured by one of the best young drivers on the road to Indy. Hunter McElroy coming home second, but Stingray Robb will taste victory for the first time on the road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. An absolutely stellar run through the entire 25-lap battle. A lot of action early and a lot of action midway through the race as well, but nonetheless, when challenged late in the race, Stingray Robb stepped it up. I'll tell you, the monkey off his back. There'll be absolute thrill and excitement in the paddock of Stingray Robb, the young American driver scoring the win. Hunter McElroy coming home in second. Jacob Loomis, who started in the pole position, that team BN Racing with Team Bennick, leveraging the ability to put fresh tires on in race 2 to qualify on the pole. He brings it home P3, but even better, Faster lap time than the winner, Stingray Robb, a 117.693. Kudos to the crew over there and Jacob for wheeling that machine. Devlin DeFrancesco ending up in 4th. Parker Thompson 5th, around at the top 5. And I'll tell you, with the victory, Stingray Robb, your point leader as well by 2 markers over Devlin DeFrancesco. Robb winner and the new point leader here in Indy Pro 2000. It's time to go to Tatis Victory Lane with Tony Laporta, and we'll wrap things up here from Mid-Ohio.
And there you have it, folks. Stingray Robb out of the car. His first victory on the road to Indy as he gets the job done for Juncos Racing. He points to the heavens. A long time coming for the driver out of Idaho. Stingray Robb gets the victory, his first in Road to Indy competition. So there you see it, folks, as the end of the 3rd and final race in Indy Pro 2000 celebrates on the podium. Jacob Loomis converts his pole position into a 3rd place. Hunter McElroy rebounds after a rough opening weekend in Wisconsin to finish 2nd. And it's Stingray Robb scoring his first ever victory on the road to Indy. We'll join Jacob Loomis here in the driver staging area. We asked you if you could take that risk and get in the pole position and convert it into a podium. You did exactly that. So it looks like the gamble was worth it?
Yeah, I think so. Man, it was a tough race for sure. I really had thought I had a better start than I did. They got around me, and I kind of just held with them and tried to follow Hunter through once he got by me. And I think I had the pace at the end. I just really kind of screwed up in the middle of the race and kind of dropped off a little bit. But overall, a really good result for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. For Bryn Natal's team, you and your teammate Sabre Cook getting through this weekend, it was not an easy one for sure. Coming back here in 6 days, knowing now what you do with qualifying up front and showing that you have the pace, how much emphasis does that mean you guys are going to put on qualifying when we get back here next week?
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. Obviously, this track is really aero dependent, and when you're following behind people, it's really hard to stay up with them and make passes. So qualifying is obviously key, and I think maybe we need to just work on our quali pace just a little bit for the next weekend.
All right, it's Jacob Loomis in 3rd place. He gets it done after a gamble in race number 2 on the week, puts him on the pole and on the podium in 3rd place here at the end of round number 5. Hunter McElroy rebounds after a very tough opening weekend in Wisconsin and gets out of Mid-Ohio with a podium position in 2nd place. Up and down weekend for you guys at Pabst Racing. Talk me through it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy one. I mean, it's been probably the toughest start of any racing year I've had, but, massive credit goes to my guys. We keep digging, we keep showing what we got. I mean, we've got the potential. Finally was able to make some good headway with, cast it up. We've been there or thereabouts setting fastest laps, but, put it together today, charged from P7 to P2, drove basically my whole way from there and just chased down Stingray and so close, man. So,
final round of the triple header here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Robb scoring his debut Road to Indy victory. It's been a long time coming. The Spud, they call him. Well, I think I'm the only one who calls him that. Yeah. Brother, it's been a long time. Can-Am karting challenge at Pat's Acres, all the way to the top step of the podium at a world-class racetrack like Mid-Ohio. Does it feel real yet?
I think I'm a little bit on cloud 9 right now. I kind of got the floaty feeling, but I'm so overjoyed, lost for words.
When you look back on your career, starting out as young as you did in Idaho racing go-karts in a region of the country that isn't known for motor racing, and now you're here on the ladder system designed to get you up to the NTT IndyCar Series, and you're a race winner now in Indy Pro 2000. The only step up from here is Indy Lights. How much hungrier does that make you now that you've got your first one and you know you can go get more?
I think a lot of it is the hope that this series gives us. Cooper Tires and the Road to Indy, they've done such a good job creating a series for us where us drivers are allowed to develop on and off the racetrack. So I'm over thankful for the work that they put in and year out, and also to my team, Juncos Racing, for all the work that they do. Next year I'm looking to move up to Indy Lights, so I wouldn't be able to do that without the experience that I've gained here at these lower levels.